Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Delirium League. Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna start this off with explaining that this video is going to be trying to help viewers who are following this budget build to perfect this build, to min-max it, to take it from budget to make it better. So this is the Stone Golem budget build I have pulled up here. And the first thing I want to show is basically how in the origin of the build, I started with all of these harmonies. If you don't know what a harmony is, it's the primordial harmonies. And the concept was 20% increased golem damage for each type of golem you have summoned, and it'll also decrease the cooldown for the golem. So you'll see that the golem skill is only 0.96 second cooldown. And also they have pretty high, they'll have a lot of flat damage because each one of these is, because I have three types of golem: Stone Golem, Chaos Golem, and Carrion. It was 60% increased golem damage, and I had a lot of these jewels. So you multiply the 60% times all the... this kind of looks like doing Herald stacking, but it's golem stacking, you see? So then instead of doing that, I found that in my main build, I wanted to drop the Carrion Golem because it was dying, because I don't have... Even with minion life, the Carrion Golem only had 25,000 life, and it's really risky, and it dies a lot. So I wanted to take out the Carrion Golem. So if you take out... So let me just show you this. I have this build. You have Carrion Golem. You have all of the harmonies. And now, instead of stripping this, I made a second path of building to make it really clear. Okay, so give me a second here. So we have a second one. And what I did in this one is I literally stripped out the Carrion Golem. And then I replaced harmonies with eminence until I only had 3 harmonies and the rest are eminence. And if you notice, if I swap another harmony to another eminence, I actually lose damage. And so it's better to have another harmony. You see 4k more damage with the harmony, and you see how there's a perfect balance between harmonies and eminence that you need to figure out for yourself based on what part of the build you're at. But either way, doing the no carry-on and doing the eminences instead, this same budget build, nothing else changed. 988k per golem. You have 8 stone golems instead of 7, and if you go back, the other one was 1.08 million, and you can see the difference in harmonies. I had 2 eminence and like 6 harmonies or something. 7 harmonies is something insane. Yeah. Whereas in this one, in the new one, yeah. So then you also notice the skill cooldown is different because we have less harmonies. But then you should be okay because of multi-strike. And then the damage is ridiculous. Yeah. So this was basically looking at if we could get less harmonies and take out the Carrion Golem. And then you may ask, okay, so what's the damage? The damage in the Carrion Golem one, so the original budget build was 7.56 million. This new one is 7.9 million, so we gained 340,000 damage overall, and I'd like to point out, now we have 8 stone golems instead of 7, so we have more clear. We also have, we don't have the carry-on golem, so we don't have to carry around dead weight, and the dead weight is literally, in this build it was 4 gems, in my main build it's 2 gems, and if not, having to give it more just to keep it alive, honestly. And so so what am I saying overall here? Okay, let me re-sum it up. So basically what I'm saying is take what your build was if you had 3 golems, take out the 3rd golem, take out the carry-on, the lightning golem, whatever 3rd golem you had, and now run more eminence. And you have to use path of building to find what sweet spot, because if you still ran the 3 golems, I believe it was more damage. Oh my god, it was even... Wait. Okay, there you go. There, we found the sweet spot for this one now. with Carry On. But yeah, we before wanted, in the budget, I wanted to run 7 Harmonies no matter what, just for the cooldown. But I have moved past that. I realized we don't need it because we have multi-strike. And so there's 5 Harmonies and 4 Eminence. Even in the other one, it was 1.1 then. Instead at the perfect balance. And it's so weird that you have to find your own sweet spot for what part of the build you're at, because it's a balance between attack speed and increased damage. This is just like normal stuff I had to do in the zombie build too, where the attack speed helm enchant can actually be correct sometimes over the minion damage one. If you have already a ton of flat minion damage in a build, then you don't need 40% more. You'd rather have attack speed, which will then amplify all of the flat damage you have. Anyways, I wanted to look at, this was 1.1 times 7, so 7.7, so the difference is 200k then in this case. At least, but it's still better. And the fact that you get an extra stone golem, you get rid of carry on golems, so you don't have to carry around dead weight. So even in changing the harmonies and eminence in the budget to give it the most damage, it still doesn't beat the 2 golem setup, and then it's better with the 2 golem setup anyways. And I'd also like to point out, as an elementalist, it doesn't care about types. The only thing that wanted you to run types is harmony. So if you aren't harmony stacking, you don't need multiple golems. You only need 2. And then you need as many golems as possible to get the increased buff effect, which is what we're doing through the amulet, through the +2 here, +1 here, and going crazy. We're trying to get as many golems as possible to take advantage of the elementalist thing. Not really so much the harmony. We'd rather have our 2 golems, tons of stone golems to really dominate. And this actually makes me think of like other builds running golems just for the defenses that they give, because that life regen and physical damage reduction could honestly be used in our necromancer build. So I might add golems and make them like a real thing in my golem build. And then what if I just reroll and go as an elementalist, use the golems as defense, and your ascendancy as defense, and then use the zombies as offense with leech. Double dip the chip. No, it's pretty funny though. So many ideas. Okay, now I need to train you for the next part. There's 2 parts in this video, okay? It's all about the eminence and the harmonies and the understanding of how to upgrade this build. Okay, so imagine you had this build where you have all this dex through the skill tree, right? So imagine you lost this dex and you lost this, because, okay, so let me put it like this. You're spending 5 points for a jewel socket for 40 dex. So you could do way better than this. This is budget, right? So you take this and you take this res, because you can also get the res. These are just suffixes on items. You can do this, right? 5 points. Ridiculous points spent for a jewel socket. Okay, so you take all these points, and you take out the dex, and you take out 1 life point. Okay, now let me show you the new skill tree, what you're going to spend it on. It's not that complicated, I promise. Okay, so we would take 2 more large cluster jewels. So you know how I had the 1 in the starter build for the 1 rotting claws, because the 1 rotting claws is pretty important to help us get to the higher impale. Well, when you run 3 of them, you get 3 rotting claws, and then you don't run impale, and so the damage per golem goes up to 1.39. Oh, and you gained 2 jewel sockets. I forgot to mention that part. Well, like, you moved them, so you have the same amount, but you also gained the large cluster. But then, yeah, now we have 1,394 times 8 of them, so it's 11.1 million with the same amount of points spent. Yeah, we gain like 4 million damage by just putting in those large clusters. Is that good? So that's what this is why I make these videos, guys. This is what I'm trying to show you. This is what I'm trying to put together, help people. Technically, if I wanted to strip some life, so just if you wanted a little bit more damage in this, let's say you stripped these 3. And you wanted more damage, the 3 you would take is Fearsome Force. Look at this. 60k extra per, and there's 8 of them, so yeah, that's a lot of damage. 480k DPS on your 11 million. And this area of effect is pretty fun, so 10% and then an extra 16%, so it's 26% increased area of effect for your golem. So not only is their slam increased, but their area of how much area they should cover, hopefully, and be aware of the enemies usually works like that. But yeah, it's simple, just putting in, like, look at this. Wow, renewal can be nutty if it's always at full life, the primordial bond for the golem effect, and the rotting claws for the impale. These large clusters are just insane, dude. You actually, like, you want these in the build. And then the fact that you can drop the impale and you just get 4 million damage, boom. I think this is a good video though, so it teaches people how to get rid of the carrion golem and gain damage by swapping in eminences. And then also they should be able to just gain damage by swapping some of their skill tree around to gain these large cluster jewels, since they already have path to here if they've copied my budget build. This was me getting people ready for where we were going with the build, which is large cluster jewels, PogChamp. Glad people don't have to respec very much. In my opinion, I think it was like 11 regrets or something. It's like this 10 and a couple dex nodes, which really is then you getting better items to get the dex and get the... It's a lot of dex, man. It's like a Sokka Walls, the Headhunter, and then some dex on a ring. That's what I've got it through. So you should be able to do it as well. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. This video hopefully can be very helpful for people. And then, yeah, now we have 93% impale chance, which should be the exact same, because the impale support on our weapon, on our stone golems, was 40%, and we replaced it with 2 more rotting claws. So that's how the impale's gone. So this is just like the zombies, but now we're doing it for the golems and showing how OP the golems are. We're min-maxing a budget build to really show. So you take your 10x budget build, and it was still 10x with the eminence and cutting the carrion golem, by the way, with 7 million damage, and then you add 2 more large cluster jewels, and boom, you hit 11 million DPS. That seems good. Alright, hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today in this episode. Hope you could learn something. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the financial support. I can't do this without you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!